Hey guys, my name is Mickey, and this week I'll be taking you through the life of a software engineering intern at Toast while living in Boston.
My roommates and I live approximately a 3-minute walk away from work. So because of that, for my mornings, I can usually wake up around 9 and make it into the office by 9:30. Once I make it into work, I make myself breakfast, usually a bagel or some cereal, and then pour some green tea for the day. As a software engineer, I usually start off my mornings at my desk, which is in my team's pod. Morning work is normally catching up on any emails and Slack messages, possibly reviewing some pull requests, and starting work on any outstanding tickets before stand-up at 11:45 a.m. At Toast, most of the code that I write on the back end is in Java, and on the data platform team, I often work with tools such as Spark, Kafka, and AWS. For those of you who are wondering, Toast is a software company which builds restaurant management systems for tens of thousands of small and medium-sized businesses in the United States. This includes applications such as point-of-sale systems, payments, kitchen displays, analytics, food delivery integration, and so much more. After our morning stand-up, it's lunchtime. Toast has a few kiosks and delivery stations around the office where you can order food in advance from select places and have it delivered to the office around noon, free of delivery charge. Other times, on sunny days, I'll head out with interns to check out some of the restaurants nearby our office or the newly opened cafeteria downstairs in our building. After lunch, I usually spend a few hours of focus time to get through some difficult problems. Sometimes that means staying near my pod so I can ask my team for help whenever needed. Other times, if I need to focus on my own and just crank out some code, I'll find a well-lit common space next to a window to work. I find it's really nice to move around in the afternoon as it helps me think and keep refreshing myself. Also, beanbags are very comfortable.
This is probably a good time to address the difference between my role as a data engineer and Daniel's role as a data analyst at the Globe and Mail, which, by the way, if you haven't seen this video yet, you really should check it out.
Now, let's imagine the flow of data through a purely hypothetical company that sells toasters. So first, this data has to be created, which can occur from multiple places, such as a customer buying a toaster from a phone app, in-store, or from a web app. And all this data gets aggregated and structured into a database. Now, let's say we wanted to build some analytics features on top of this current system that we'll call a data source. First, we need a way to extract the data from this database. Then, we may need to transform this data into a way that's relevant and produces insights, such as grouping by toaster products so we can see which product sells the most. And then afterwards, we need a way to load this data into a data sink that is more easily accessible to our customers. This could exist in many forms, such as being presented as an API.
Fun fact, some examples of these customers may be internal ones, such as data scientists, which want to derive trends and then analyze the data we prepared for them to gain insight.
One difference between Daniel's and my role comes in the extract, transform, and load phase, which is called an ETL for short. At Toast, I'm writing code to build an infrastructure which can extract and process these new orders continuously and then load them in real time. On the other hand, Daniel's writing code as a script which is run routinely to transform and then load the data, but not continuously. This means that his code is hooked into a larger infrastructure. So my job skews much closer to software engineering, and it has workflows such as pull requests and deployments, whereas his role skews a lot closer to data science, which is working with a lot of scripts.
And I just want to say that this is just a generalization of both our roles, which also doesn't reflect any similarly named roles at different companies.
After work, I usually try to keep active and outside since the summer and weather is so great for building healthy habits. Usually, that means alternating between going to the gym or going on runs with some friends. Boston and Cambridge has a lot of great parks and trails for running along the shoreline, which is just super relaxing overall. Every week, some of the interns at Toast like to hold a board games night where we'll play a bunch of board games such as Avalon or Codenames, and regularly we'll go around exploring the city, such as going kayaking on the Charles River or just checking out some cool places. In fact, recently, I went on a hike with some friends to the same place that Vivian visited a few weeks ago. So yeah, I gotta say, New England's got a super cool vibe, and the Appalachians are great if you're into hiking.
So one question I got asked is, how do you find meaning at an internship at a large tech company? Okay, let's think of a deep answer for this. So I think the first most important thing that you have to do is you really have to break it down, right? So before you start your internship, you should have an abstract idea of what you actually want to achieve. This could be a goal, for example, such as growth. You really want to specialize and gain technical talent in a particular field, or discovery. You want to see whether a particular field works out for you. Like for example, for me, I switched from mobile development to back-end development because I wanted to discover whether I enjoyed it. Or for impact, right? You want to have a large technical or personal contribution to a small company. And these are all good goals, and it's important, in my opinion, when you're picking abstract goals, to not pick transient goals, right? So if your goal to finding meaning is like getting office perks or prestige, those kind of things eventually wear out over time, especially as you start getting annoyed, by bugs you may encounter, and just the grueling aspects of actual work. So it's important that you're not picking transient goals, because those are things that you may lose motivation in, and that's the only thing you're relying on. Okay, so now once that you have your abstract goals, the next step is to try to find concrete actions that you can do in your next 4 months to achieve these goals. So before you start your internship, you want to talk to your team lead and have an idea of what could you realistically do in 4 months to consider yourself satisfied that you've achieved this goal. And then throughout your internship, just try to continually reevaluate and be introspective and see whether you're getting closer or further away from that mark. And this way it keeps you focused on your goal and allows you to have some long-term planning for your 4 months. And I think that's basically it. Obviously, this is going to differ from person to person, but I think that's a pretty general framework to apply with. I think for me personally, coming into this internship, it was really heavily about growth and gaining technical knowledge, especially with data and with back-end development. And I've always been reevaluating this because every week my lead and I always sit down to have a one-on-one where he makes sure I'm continuing to have a positive experience here and making positive contribution to the team, and whether I'm getting closer to my goals, my end goals, which really is to just learn and develop my skills, which is really nice. Also, it's important to note that all of us at 16 Weeks are coming to you from the perspective of people working in the tech industry. So a lot of these answers about how you find meaning at a large company really apply to tech. But I just want to put out there that tech is not the only thing that students at Waterloo do, and tech isn't the only way that you can find meaning or very impactful internships. In fact, there are people in our class who are working with NGOs in developing countries or helping to drive research into neuroscience. And those aren't necessarily fields that are anything related to tech, but the people who are working there often find it very meaningful and are often very impactful as well. So tech is not the only avenue for you to have an impactful or meaningful experience on your internships. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Want to be in my vlog?
I'm in your vlog now. Look at me. Mini dabs.